Hey y'all, how y'all doing out there to all of my villagers? Listen, I was trying to start this thing off real professional like, but y'all know that's just not always how it goes. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards. I'm a mental and emotional wellness creative, a licensed professional counselor, and a certified life enhancement coach. I teach Black women the skills that we need in order to heal and manifest, and I do so by sharing my journey with you in hopes that it'll help you along your own. And you're tuned in to From Scratch Live, which is my kind of weekly vlog where I just talk about what's going on in my life and share my journey and hope that you get a few pointers along the way. This week has been really, the last couple weeks have been jam packed. They have been just very, very nonstop. And it's been good. It's been really good. I, I'm kind of in this place right now where I'm just really, really focused on getting done what it is that I need to get done. And, I feel like I am in a place where I'm like really executing very, very well right now. Um, and that's always like an exciting place to be in. I have a bunch of different irons in the fire, as they say, where I have the masterclass. Excuse me. Well, the masterclass, yes, the masterclass is there, but I have Trust Village Academy that I'm building out. I'm gonna give y'all some more information about that in a little bit. We had two massive projects at work this week. And I feel like I did really well on both of those projects. So I'm just very proud of myself. And I feel a lot of fulfillment in the work that I'm doing right now, like with my new job, well, my current job. And so that's really, really nice. And I started my journey again. Well, really, it's not even again, it's the first time, like I'm really on this journey of, trying to make some babies. I was doing some things before, but it wasn't really like for real, trying to make some babies because I was traveling. I was all over the world, which I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to travel the world. But it's not, that's not. Oh, look, that's what's going on. I was wondering. There we go. Let's see what happens there. Well, all right. Let's see what happens. I thought that I was going live on Facebook and on YouTube, but I was only on Facebook. So, excuse me, I was only on YouTube and I was like, well, where's my Facebook folks at? And y'all wasn't there. So I guess I will start again and I will say that my name is Latrice Sampson Richards. I am a mental and emotional wellness creative, a licensed professional counselor, and a certified life enhancement coach. I teach Black women the skills that we need in order to heal and manifest, and I do so by sharing my journey with you in hopes that it'll help you along your own. And you're tuned in to From Scratch Live, which is my kind of sort of weekly vlog where I just share my journey and hope that you pick up some gems along the way. And so if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you go ahead and comment hashtag replay so I can say, hey girl, hey, or whatever. I'm going to take a pause for the cause and share this to my Facebook group, which if you're not a member of Trust Village, it is a safe space for healing and manifestation. You need to join us over there. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and post that inside of Trust Village. And if you would also hit the, share button and share this with all of your peoples, just to let them know that they might want to listen to what's being said. Um, when you come on in, make sure you say hey or whatever, because y'all know sometimes Facebook does not let me know that y'all done came up in the place, especially now that I'm getting real fancy like, and I'm like using some real like for real software shit now. I what's there we go. I'm like, what's the problem here? Listen, Facebook done made some changes, and they doing the most right now. Hey Tracy. Hey girl, hey, how you doing? All right, so like I was saying before, y'all didn't know I was saying it before because I guess I was too damn fancy for my own good. But this week has been like the last couple weeks have been like jam packed. They've been very, very interesting, but also very, very jam packed. I I had a couple projects at work over the last couple weeks. It's been super, super busy at work. And I feel like, I did a very good job on those projects in terms of working in a team and stuff like that. So, I rocked it out on that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, in addition to that, I'm getting things together for Trust Village Academy. And I actually signed some contracts this week to, get put a team in place. And it's really kind of the first time that I'm working with like have opened up my business to people outside of my business. I've always kind of been a one woman show. And so it takes a lot when you have been in business for yourself and by yourself for so long to like really start opening up and being like, okay, I think I need some help with this, or like, where can my time be best spent. And so that's been awesome. And then or it has been awesome, but it's also been very, very enlightening. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight as well. And I went to my first fertility appointment, which for those of you who have been listening for a while, following for a while, you know that. I want to make some babies. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of had got put on hold for a while because I had to stop and focus on myself. But now that I'm in a better place, it's time. It's coming on back around. And so I actually kind of took first steps toward that this week. And that was very, very interesting. And not that anybody is surprised by this spoiler, but I went to give blood today for the official like first start, and girl, I cried up in them people hematology room. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that as well. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Ramona, what's going on, sis? I really like my job. My job is really amazing. I enjoyed my last job, like the job of it, like the actual work that I was doing. I really enjoyed those things. I enjoyed working with the kids. I enjoyed learning about military culture and things like that because I was a military therapist, a traveling military therapist. And so I had an opportunity to go all over the world. And I'm always going to be appreciative for having had that opportunity because I know that, it's a blessing. It really is. And I mean, shit, I met my husband while I was doing all that traveling and shit. I met my husband on a military base. And so, I'm grateful and I will be forever grateful for those experiences. But for, those of you who know, who've been around for a while, that girl, I was not happy. I was not happy at all because I was so separated and so far removed from any semblance of the kind of life that I wanted for myself. And it took me a while to really like understand it in that sense, because for a while I went back and forth about like, okay, am I just feeling like this because like really just because of my husband? Like because I miss my husband. Because while I mean, I that is a sufficient reason for me. I felt like I needed my feelings to be for me. I needed my feelings to be about me, and not like making it about him or about our relationship or anything like that. So I kind of battled with that within myself for a while to like really understand, because I could feel that it wasn't just because of him, but he was a part of the reason I wanted to come home. That's my husband. I married that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be with that nigga. I wanted to see him. I wanted to sleep next to him. I wanted to make a life with him. And so, of course, he was a part of the reason why I was ready to move into the next chapter and like ready to come home and shit like that. But for me, for my own um because for my own reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like because that's what the fuck I wanted. It had to be about more for me. It had to be about more than just, you know, I want to come home for my husband. And so I, spent a lot of time thinking about that. Like, what is it that's really making me feel like I'm miserable? Like, what is it that's really making me? Because I was yearning to come back. It wasn't just like I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm tired. It was like no, like I am emotionally distraught because I am not in a place that I want to be in. And so what it really boiled down to for me was actually a number of different things. One of which was that I wasn't happy with the job, like the administrative side of the job that I had. I enjoyed the work itself, even though honestly I wasn't feeling challenged by the work, and that was a problem for me, because I like to, I like to feel challenged. I like to feel like there's something that I'm working toward, and so the work was just way too easy, and I wasn't feeling challenged at all. I was actually feeling very much placated, and and babyfied, and it was frustrating because they just kept placing these ridiculously unrealistic expectations on us, and they were not treating us as if they respected us as employees. And the situation that I thought I was getting myself into when I first signed up like 8 or 9 years ago is not what it is today. And so I was ready to make a change. And so I was just in a really, really negative place in my life. And I made some decisions to, make some major changes. And I focused and really honed in on making those changes. I pretty much put everything, and everybody else on pause. I really don't have time to consider your feelings right now. I really don't have time to think about how you're going to receive this right now. I need to like step out of the limelight for a minute, and I needed to get me together. I needed to be selfish. I needed to focus on myself. And that's why I tell people all the time, like you have sometimes, like you don't owe anybody any explanations. If you're ghosting is for your own mental health, for the good of your own mental health, then girl, you better casp on them niggas. Like, I don't care who you are. You are not more important than me. And so when it comes to me, like as far as I'm concerned, you are not your peace is not more important than mine. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to start prioritizing that and making some really difficult decisions. And I did. And so, hey, Miss Jackie, I love and miss you too. Miss Jackie, I was just spraying. Oh my God, Jackie, I just sprayed my Michael Kors perfume. That's the one that every time I sprayed it, you was like, "Oh my God, you smell so good." I just sprayed it, girl. You would love the way I smell right now. Um, and so I got a new job and I, am settled down here in South Florida in Broward County. And I love it and I'm happy. And I have been executing on a level that I can't really say that I've ever really executed on. I think really the only other time that I've executed at this high of a level was when I first started my private practice, and that ended up not being fruitful. Well, it was very fruitful actually. That's how I was introduced to my voice, and to program development and things like that. But and to the foundation of what it means to run a business. But it was not, that business, just wasn't able to sustain that business. And I think a part of the reason for that is because I was operating in a silo. I had a few friends that I would talk to about my business and about business decisions and things like that that I needed to make. But those friends were not necessarily in business for themselves. They were not entrepreneurs. And so, they were, business savvy, some of them to a certain extent, but they were not entrepreneurs. And it's a whole different ball game. In addition to that, I just didn't really trust anybody with my business. And I don't mean like necessarily like just with my business, like what's going on with me in my life. I'm talking about with my business, Samson Therapeutic Services. I just didn't trust that anybody was going to see my vision, understand my vision. And I think that's because every time that I tried to link up with somebody um, to help me, um, it it ended not good at all. I was really having a hard time connecting with people that actually knew what they was doing and that were actually serious about, helping me build my business. And what I now know that I didn't really understand at the time, but I now know and understand very, very well, is that the reason why I was attracting those kind of people is because I was operating from a place of fear. And, I didn't really believe in my ability to be an entrepreneur. I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. I constantly questioned myself. And so I ended up being around people that, were able to talk good enough to make me believe that they knew what the fuck they was talking about. But they didn't. And so now that I'm in this place of having like just a great deal of healing, I am happier than I've ever been in my life. I feel extremely, extremely confident in what I'm doing and the direction that I'm going in, the skill sets that I have and things like that. Um, I feel a lot more secure in like asking for help and trusting the village, like letting people in to what's going on, and asking for help so that I can continue to execute at a high level. Because like having to focus on all of those little things, which are not little things, like they are big things. They are things that need to happen, but they're not necessarily things that need to be done. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. They're not necessarily things that need to be done by me. They are just things that need to get done. And so being able to like delegate those things, and knowing that I can actually just give that assignment to somebody and be able to have confidence in their ability to do it, because that's not always a thing, it really makes a world of difference. And so I signed two contracts this week with two different independent contractors who are helping me to bring Trust Village Academy to life. I, laid the groundwork and the foundation for it. I, designed what the academy looks like. I had input at every single level. So everything that you see or that you will see, because it ain't time yet, but it will be very soon. Everything that you will see is my vision. It's the manifestation of my vision, and you'll be able to really see it the way I see it, because I have allowed myself to be seen and opened myself up to receiving the help that I need. I trust my village. I trust my village. And in order for me to get to a place where I can trust my village, I had to heal myself so that I could then create a village that I can trust. Hello, somebody. I couldn't trust the village that I had before. Not everybody in that village, not the people that, I was trying to lean on. I couldn't trust that village because those was not my people. Those was not my people in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And now that I have healed and I have done the internal work that's necessary to allow myself to be seen, I have been able to connect with my people, like my people that's really, really my people. And, those people are, I can trust them. I can trust them. I trust their skill sets. I trust their judgment. I trust their taste. I trust them because I connected to them uh, from all of the healed parts of me instead of the damaged parts of me. Or not even, I don't even want to say damaged, but, unhealed, raw parts of me. And that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know that I've ever really, really had that, especially not in business. I know for a fact I ain't never had that in business. And so, it's exciting. It's very exciting. I every day I write in my little journal. This is my What Would Tree Say journal. And it's available on my website, latricesampsonrichards.com. Just go to the shop page. And every time I open this journal to write something down, I'm just like, bitch, I have a journal. You know what I'm saying? Like with my name on it. Like, and it's a very good journal. Like, it's good quality. It's the vision that I had for, like, if I ever did a journal, this is what it would look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that means a lot to me. Like, it means a lot to me. And this is taking place because of the healing that I have allowed myself to experience, and the healing that I was willing to embark upon, like the journey that I was willing to embark upon. And that is so fucking cool to me. Like, I just feel like that is like really, really cool, because I can honestly say, like, I did this, like, I manifested this. This was an idea in my mind that at some points, at some points when it got real, real thick and real, real, real rough, I honestly didn't ever think this shit was going to happen for real, for real. I never thought, well, not never. I'm just going to say I went through periods where I didn't think Trust Village Academy was going to happen. I didn't think I was ever going to find a job. Like, I was in a very, very dark place where it was difficult for me to see any light, let alone the light. Okay. I was off in that thing. And so to now be like holding the book with a box of books with academy that's like almost finished, you know, like it's cool. It feels good. It's nice. I'm excited. And I don't feel overwhelmed, which is another thing. I think I was always afraid that I was afraid of failure, but I think for me I was more afraid of success. And it's an important difference between those two, I was afraid of success because what if I'm successful, what if it was a fluke? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I'm not as good as I thought I was? What if, because I never had an opportunity to operate at this level before, I've been working hard trying to get to this level, but I've never, and I'm not even at the level that I really want to be at. But like, you know, it's always been like in my head, like in the back of my mind, like, what if I'm not as good as I think I am? What if, I finally get my chance at bat, as they say, and I completely, fuck it up, So it was just that fear of being successful overwhelmed me. The idea of like, oh my God, if I do well on this thing, then I'm gonna have to keep that up, and people are gonna be expecting, this, that, and the other. And what if I can't do that again? Like, what if it's just a fluke? What if that's just a one-time thing? Or what if it was a certain variable or a other variable that made that thing go as well as it did? And so now I'm in a place where I'm like, you know what? Like, I got this. Like, I feel very confident in the direction that I'm going in. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I can see the path very clearly. And I feel like I have everything that I needed to have in place in order to move down that path, move up that path, and just continue to execute at a high level and at an even higher level. And I'm excited to see how far it can go. I'm excited to see how far it can go, because it feels right. Like, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels right. I don't know any other way to say that. It's like, when I say, in the master class, I'm always, well, I say several times in the master class that you just kind of know. Like, people always want to ask me, how do you know when you're healing, or like when you have healed, or this, that, and the other? And you know I wish that there was like some kind of really super classy kind of answer that I can give you, but there is none. The truth is that you just know. You feel it, you know you feel it. You feel different, and you have an awareness that you feel different. And that's how you know that you have healed from something. That's how you know. Nobody can tell you that. I might be able to point out that your energy feels different. I might be able to identify that you're talking differently, or that you are, acting differently, making different types of choices and things like that. Like, those are all indicators that healing has taken place, or I'll say is taking place and has taken place. But for you personally, you just feel it, it, and I feel it right now. I feel it, and it feels really good. It feels really good, and it really started with Trust in the Village. When I created Trust Village, when I was thinking about, okay, what am I gonna name it? I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a Facebook group, right? What am I gonna name my Facebook group? Because I knew I wasn't gonna try to change my Facebook group name. I hate when people change the name of their Facebook group like in like 10,000 members in. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm like, hey, Kurt, listen, girl, you have been on my mind because I was like, oh my God, I am the worst cousin ever, girl. I ain't never called you back. And we had a calendar appointment and everything, which I never put it on the calendar. I told you, if it's not on the calendar, it does not exist. And I went to put it on the calendar, girl. And then I got distracted and I never hit save on the calendar. So it never went on my calendar. And that's why I forgot to call you, guys. I'm so sorry. But thank you for tuning in. Yeah. And so, that's my cousin, y'all. Y'all know I be needing to talk to my peoples. Um, but yeah, so, uh, what was I talking about? I was talking about, I don't feel overwhelmed. You just kind of know. What was I talking about, girl? We'll reschedule. Yes, we will, cuz. Yes, we will. Um, well, I don't remember. It'll come back to me. But yeah, so excuse me, I feel really good. I feel like, I'm doing really well. I don't feel overwhelmed. It just feels right. It feels like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, that's what I was telling y'all. When I first started Trust Village, I was like, okay, what am I gonna name this thing? And I said, well, okay, I know it has to do something with trust, like because we're learning how to trust ourselves, we're learning how to trust other people, we're learning how to trust our world, our skills, our abilities. Like it's about trust. That's really what it all comes down to. You know, and I said, okay, if I'm gonna do a group about trust, then it needs to feel like a group, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want it to, like, you have some of those groups where it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't really feel like a community. It was important to me to create a community, like to create a space for Black women to learn how to trust together. And I said, okay, a village, because in Africa they have villages, and y'all know, power to the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about Blackness. And so I said, okay, it's like a little nod to Africa that, we need to go back to that village mentality in a lot of ways where we, support each other, and it's like communal living, but from an emotional standpoint. And so that's how I came to Trust Village, because it I wanted to create a space for Black women to heal together. And in order for that healing to take place, we have to learn how to trust ourselves. We have to learn how to trust others. We have to learn how to trust, and we have to do it together. And so that's how Trust Village came about. In addition to that, the majority of my healing in along my journey, my personal journey, the majority of my healing came as a result the of the love and support from the Black women that I have in my life. It's been rough. It's been a rough several years. Um, I went through a rough patch. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, a rough patch. And there were not a whole lot of people that I was able to talk to about that. And so I really, really, really relied on my personal village. Like really, really, really rely on, like, I don't even have enough reallys to share, on my village, and my village of Black women, and they showed up for me every single time I needed them. And so I know that there's way too many of us who don't have that. And I wanted to make sure that every Black woman that's looking for a village could find one. And that's what Trust Village is. And so, I'm learning how to trust the village. I'm learning how to create villages that I can trust, and how to put myself and make myself a part of villages that are trustworthy. And It's going really well. It's going really well. um Courtney, sis, you must have knew that you was on my mind, girl. The last couple days, I just looked at my phone the other day. I said, all right, now I done text this heifer 3 times. I done text you 3 times. I said one more time. The next text gonna be, you have 24 hours to respond to this message before I put that APB out, sis. And I will do it. You know what I'm saying? I will do it. I said, and I literally just said that yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I got so busy, but girl, I just said, well, I ain't heard from Courtney in a minute. What is going on? Ah. I don't plays behind my cocoa. Yeah. So Trust Village Academy is happening. I'm going to be giving y'all a lot more information about that really, really soon. And so y'all make sure you join Trust Village so that you can get that information. And then I went today for, did I tell y'all about that already? I went today for the fertility appointment. And it's kind of, well, I mean, I did the initial appointment at the beginning of the quarantine, but it was a virtual appointment. So I really was just like meeting the doctor, and they did a whole like big 45-minute questionnaire, but that was with the nurse and stuff like that. And so, today was the first time that I actually went into the clinic and went to the facility. And, they just doing some preliminary testing and stuff like that so that we can like get a baseline, and I'm sitting up in the people hematology room. That's what you call it. That's the room where they take the blood. Girl, I'm sitting up in them people hematology room, girl, where I was in the waiting room, and I just felt myself getting like very, very emotional. And I was like, sis, get it together. You know what I'm saying? Get it together. And then I got in the room, and the lady was talking to her coworker. And as she's talking to her coworker, I could just feel the tears welling up in my eyes. And I'm like, girl, get it together right now. Like, what is happening right now? And so the lady finally came, and when she went to tie the little band around my arm, so they could stop up the blood or whatever, so they could get the blood, I looked at her and I said, feeling a little emotional right now. And she was like, oh, she was like, okay. I was like, yeah. And girl, just tears, streams of tears just rolling down my face. And I like had to catch my breath and everything, like, which I was crying, like crying for real. And I mean, not like ugly sobbing cry, but just like emotional crying. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I said, yeah. I was like, I don't really like needles. I was like, but that's not the problem. Like, that's not what's wrong. And that wasn't what was wrong, It was, for me, it was, yeah, like, yeah, I was just giving blood. Like, it's not even nothing. Like, it's just, they just taking blood to do baseline paperwork and stuff, like baseline testing and stuff, just so we can kind of know where we are. But it's like, it's more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more than that. It's like the beginning of a new journey in my life. And it's a journey that I have been wanting for a very, very, very long time. Like a very, 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 very long time. And so, it's like the first literal step. You know, yeah, exactly, Cole. It's the why. It's the reason why I'm there. Like it's the beginning of a journey that is extremely important. And the reality is that, because of the PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, for those who do not know, I was diagnosed with PCOS in 2016 when I was in Japan. And it doesn't make it impossible to have kids, or to get pregnant rather, but it can make it extremely, extremely difficult. And so, it's not going to happen on its own. I have to have intervention. I don't want to do IVF. I just, that's not even an option for me in my mind. And so, these test results are the first step in, really kind of determining what happens in this journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a big deal. It was a big, big deal. And I think in that moment, like where she was about to take the blood, that first vial of blood, because listen, I gotta take, this is just one set of blood that I have to give. They're gonna need to take more blood. I gotta make an appointment at Quest. And then I have to do some other stuff. I gotta come in for another test next week so they could check my fallopian tubes. Then, bitch, they ain't even tell me. I thought I was just going in there to give blood. And after I gave the blood, then the lady was like, okay, you can have a seat in the waiting room. They're going to call you for the ultrasound. I was like, who, bitch? What? And nobody told me I was going to have to get no ultrasound. Then the lady called me to go in there to get the ultrasound, girl. And she's like, yeah, if you just disrobe. And I was like, disrobe? She was like, yeah, it's like not the topical ultrasound. It is the internal ultrasound. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. And I was like, well, somebody should have told me that all of this is what was going to happen today, because I was not mentally prepared. You got to tell people shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just spring some shit like that up on somebody. You know what I'm saying? I got to mentally prepare myself for that kind of thing. So I was just like, okay, and so I mean, I had to get the ultrasound, so I did the ultrasound, and that was that. So now I got to go get this other set of tests. Then I had to get some antibiotics because before I can take the next test, 2 days before I go for the next test, I have to start an antibiotic, and then I have to keep taking the antibiotic for 3 days after the test. And I guess that's like to avoid any kind of infections or anything like that. I don't know, but it's you needed me and I was not there. Oh, Cole. No, well, I mean, listen, girl, I definitely would like for you to be there, but this was something, and you know what? I was thinking about that too, because I feel like, you know, I have an acquaintance that I've met out here, a friend that I've met out here, and she offered. I told her I booked this appointment long time ago. My initial appointment, I booked a long time ago, and I was just telling her about, that I had the initial appointment, and just that I was gonna be starting the journey soon, and but then the COVID hit, and so I didn't know how long that was gonna actually be, and she had offered to come to my initial appointment with me, and I thought it was really nice of her to offer, really, really nice of her to offer. But I feel like this is something that I need to do, like by myself. I mean, of course, I'm going to share my journey. But I feel like in certain those moments, like I need to be with and within myself because I need to understand and really be able to process how I'm feeling about whatever it is that's happening. And, talking to my husband about it or whatever, like it is personal, and I mean, I'm sharing my journey with y'all because it's a huge, huge moment in my life. And I know that there's a lot of women out there who have already been on this journey or who are afraid to go down this journey. And the reality is that a negative experience in trying to get pregnant or negative motherhood experiences, they can be scarring, they can be life altering. And so I share my journey in hopes that helps you along your own. And so this is my journey. This is where I am. No, I'm not going to share every little detail of every single thing that I experience because some things are just mine. I don't tell y'all everything that's going on in my life, but I do tell y'all most things. And, you know, I feel like it's important for me to share this journey no matter how it turns out, because no matter how it turns out, somebody understands, and that's the thing that we all need to understand, we all need to realize, is that it don't matter what you're going through. You think you the only one going through that shit, but sis, I promise you, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, you are not the only one. And that's why we need community. That's why we need our village. And so I am just as much a member of Trust Village as I am the founder of Trust Village. And so, I be leaning on my village, sis. I be leaning on my village. And I don't know. So that's what happened today. I gave blood, I cried, I got my life together, had an ultrasound, you know, I started my journey toward motherhood in whatever form it's going to take. So yeah, let's see where I am when Facebook give me that 1 year ago message, reminder message. Y'all know how that Facebook likes to say, here's what you was doing a year ago. Girl, Facebook sent me a message the other day saying, oh, don't forget, sis, you posted this picture 10 years ago. I was like, girl, 10 whole years ago, Facebook, you tried it. You tried it. You tried it. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for y'all tonight. I got a shitload of work that needs to happen, but I think I'm gonna take the rest of tonight off and just kind of relax a little bit. It was a big, big day. And so I feel like I deserve a night off. And so I'm going to take a night off. And so y'all make sure that y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all make sure that you love on yourselves, acknowledge your wins, and forgive yourself for your failures. And join Trust Village. That's all I got for y'all tonight. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye, y'all.